That's quite a surprising ruling today. We were served all of a sudden, as a matter of surprise, an ambush with the medical report, which the court ordered the Nigerian Medical Association to submit since 26th September. So that medical report that we were served is dated 13th October. And it was today that we were served in open court with it. So, well, you can say that defense had no ample opportunity to react to it. It was more of an ambush. But nonetheless, the court had ordered further that Nnamdi Kanu be examined by the Nigerian Medical Association. That examination was never carried out, and the order was entered on 26th September and restated on 8th October. That part of the order was disobeyed. They never examined him. So the report is based on some informal meeting they held with Nnamdi Kanu as far back as 18th September at the DSS headquarters in Abuja. They were invited to do that by the DSS. The court and the DSS are not the same. So what we have in court, or what we were served in court today, quite frankly, we cannot be sure where it emanated from. Did it emanate from assumption, or did it emanate from the examination carried out on 18th September before the court entered an order on 26th September. So we were quite surprised, flummoxed, and we felt a bit disadvantaged, but the proceedings had to continue apace as the court wanted it. So at the end of the day, the court made a conclusion and a ruling that Nnamdi Kanu must enter his defense from the 24th of October and conclude his defense by the 30th of October. So basically, it's a 6-day trial window that we are looking at there.
So how fit is the defense now? How fit is the defense counsel, defense team particularly, entering the defense now? How ready are you guys?
Well, you see, lawyers are trained to be ready for any eventuality. But the justice of the matter is another case altogether. I choose not to comment on that.
This is a public document brought in by the medical council through the prosecution. So they serve us this thing today. And if you watch there in this particular medical report, you can see all the ailments they say that Nnamdi Kanu is suffering from. And surprisingly, somebody that has all these particular issues, you now, in the last paragraph, to say that from your own distance, he can stand trial. Somebody that is passing through all these ailments. Having said that, too, go to make a consequential order. Say, please, go and examine him and report back to me. They never examine Nnamdi Kanu, only for them to come up with this report. Nigerian Medical Council, they should be very careful, because this is a professional body, and you are expected to act professionally. In your report, you are expected, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm a practicing lawyer. You are expected to show that on this particular day, we obtained his specimen. We carried out this lab, and the lab showed this. We are talking about somebody's life, for goodness sake. You cannot just enter into your office room and you open your system and start writing trash, and you want court to rely on it. And surprisingly, we are expected to take a date for us to go, and because when the court gave us an opportunity to respond, we are ought to have taken a date to confer from our clients. It was when Nnamdi Kanu said, what? We are the people that even gave Nnamdi Kanu this thing. When the court was about to sit, we are talking about somebody's life. Of course, as a matter of this thing, the Igbos are on trial. This is a war against the Igbos. Of course, you are here when the president ordered the police and the army to go and negotiate and have a discussion with the terrorists and the non-bandits in this town. And somebody that is exercising his rights as given to him by the constitution, both local and international legislations, and you say that he should enter trial. Trial for what? What is it? What are you trying for? Do you have even jurisdiction? Does the court have jurisdiction to entertain this particular matter? Somebody that has been discharged by court of appeal. So we don't want to go into that. This is a trial. Again, the Igbos are on trial. This is a persecution, not a prosecution. And I stand by it. And I'm calling the entire Nigerians. It's the Igbos and the Nnamdi Kanu today. It can be another person tomorrow. And we should stand against it. That's why we are protesting. Why should we be treating a human being like this? Simply because the offense Nnamdi Kanu committed is because he's an Igbo man. Can you do it somebody from the north? Can you do it somebody from the west? You cannot. People have been agitating. Son has been going around agitating for Republic of Oduduwa. Have you arrested him? The answer is no. because Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo, and he feels that nobody can speak with him for him, and we are saying no to that. We can never be intimidated. Nobody is more Nigerian than anybody. Nobody is a second-class citizen in this country, and we are going to fight it. I'm begging judiciary to not allow yourself to be used. They know what they are doing. Are you telling me that it was on the 13th? Court gave you 2 weeks. 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you now produce the document on the 13th, and you kept it with you. You did not allow us to go and see our client with it, only for you to serve us 5 minutes before court is sitting, and you asked us to respond. Is this injustice or injustice, for goodness sake? We should call Evo. And when you call Evo, it will stop existing. That is our submission. Thank you.
No evaluation. You come up with your office. You didn't carry out any evaluation.
He must have taken his decision based on his own political views and calculations and everything. But as for, we're not in a military time when you capture people. You're a leader. You tend to do the right things for them to follow you. So I don't think anybody's captured anywhere. The government needs to do more if they want the people to support them.
Okay. I think there's a plan by Sowore to organize a free Nnamdi Kanu protest this week. I don't know if you are in tune with that arrangement.
Well, let me tell you, I've always been consistent on Nnamdi Kanu's flight. There was no need for the arrest in the first place. And I've always said that for me, and discuss with anybody who said it clearly, and I meant there. And I thank those who actually trying to do with what I'm saying for a long time. Go and check what I've said in 2020, 2022, even in 2024. I've said, and now that he has gone, because he's been to court, the rules should be followed. Not just for Nnamdi Kanu, for all agitators across the nation. Let's dialogue with them. There's nothing wrong with anybody agitating or saying, let's dialogue with them. And whatever we do with them, let's follow the rules. So I thank the organizers and I thank those who are involved. Thank you.
Excellency, the results of the outcome of the 2022 election, they remain in public domain as debates up to today. Obviously because of the role of INEC and other political factors. Today we have a new INEC chairman in place and we are working towards a new general election. What are your expectations for this new leadership of INEC regarding conduct, outcome of the process?
Very simple. He's a Nigerian. We want a new Nigeria where elections will be free, fair, and credible. And that people who have the competence, the capacity, the compassion, the character and commitment to lead the nations are elected. It's for good of everybody. None of us is going to be here forever. And none of us is going to be in our position forever. So whatever position we find ourselves is to do the right thing. So I wish him well. When it's confirmed, I will congratulate him and tell him to know that one day he's going to leave that post. Let it ensure that he keeps his reputation.
Well, a lot of your followers, especially among the obedient movement, are quite worried about your presence in the ADC because many people actually perceive that it will seem Atiku has a strong hold on that coalition and they fear he will not get it.
Let me tell you, first is that Atiku is a very dear elder brother and leader that I have a lot of respect for. I'm a member of the Labour Party and I belong to the coalition forming ADC for presidential election in 2027. And I can tell you, other parties are going to join, other people are going to be part of it. Other people are going to be part of it.
So does it feel that they are meeting with because there are people that are going to move to PDP? Are you still telling about that go to PDP again?
All of us are going to come together as a people. That's my belief. That for us to do the right thing for the country, all well-meaning people now have to come together to rescue the country.
Your Excellency, are you assuring Nigerians that you'll be on the ballot for 2027?
I'm contesting, and I'm sure I will be. And people who have looked at it, they have to look at who is competent, who have the capacity, who have everything. And I think I'm qualified. And I have the capacity to do the job. And I'm saying it over and over again that in 4 years, I can change the trajectory of Nigerian to a positive one.
ADC said that the meeting you had the other day that you agreed, all of you agreed that anybody agrees to support the person. Are you part of the agreements?
I want to go back to his question before because he asked the question. It's not as if I didn't want to answer your question. It is the fact that I need to have more information with that question, because I didn't know. For me, when people talk about issue of leadership of parties, that's not my problem. My problem is that are we talking about what concerns the poor people? The same thing is what you're talking about. For me, my brother, it's not about primary. It's about who is offering a better future for our children. We've talked too much politics in this country, including all of you. I'm sure you are not happy in the environment you're living in. You're not happy in the environment your children are living in. Why don't we talk more about what is happening? Just like I told Dele, they've just said 1.9 million people are living in poverty. Why is it not preoccupation of our talks? Why is what we are talking now preoccupation of our talks when there are people are dying in poverty? I was in the villages in Anambra State yesterday, going around, I could see poverty all over the place. We just inspected a school in our capital. There's no chair. Teachers don't have anything. They have no toilet. We are talking about party chairman, primary, this, that. That's what I want to change the trajectory. I want the new Nigeria to be talking about what will benefit our people. Thank you.